Welcome to Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka, bringing together today's leading experts to uncover ever-deepening spiritual truths and the latest scientific developments in support of the evolution of humankind. For more information on Mission Evolution Radio with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit www.missionevolution.org. And now, here's the host of Mission Evolution, Miss Gwilda Wiyaka.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to Mission Evolution Radio Show, where we share the latest information and leading-edge thoughts to support the path to unity and enlightenment. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. This hour, we'll be exploring the transforming power of evolutionary love. All of the religions of the world speak of the power of love. Jesus left but one commandment, to love one another. Love has been described as the most powerful force in the universe. Studies have shown children fail to thrive and even die in the absence of love, while their other needs are well met. All of our aspirations and accomplishments can be condensed down to the need for love and approval. Advertising and marketing utilizes thinly veiled suggestions that their product, whether makeup or a fancy new car, will attract the love we need. I've seen love used as a bargaining tool. I will love you if, or if you love me, you will. Love has been withheld as punishment in an allegedly more humane parenting technique, although now it's proving to be more damaging than a good old-fashioned beating. But what is love? This powerful force that directs our lives and motivations is something few people understand. Even more mysterious, what is self-love, unconditional love, or universal love? What role does evolving our concept and understanding of love play in evolving as a race? With us this hour to explore love is Nomi Bachar, author of Let the Heart Speak and Gates of Power, Actualizing Your True Self. Nomi is a trained psychotherapist with a background in psychodrama, Gestalt, bioenergetics, and primal therapy. She's a graduate of Bet-Tzvi, the Academy for the Performing Arts in Israel. She was also the founding member of Inner Landscape Dance Theater, Dance Collective in New York City. Her website, gatesofpower.com. Nomi, thanks for joining us on Mission Evolution.
It's a pleasure.
I think all of us get what a psychotherapist is, but what's primal therapy?
It's a form of psychotherapy. Primal therapy is a method of going way beyond the verbal state, which is, before one or two, and actually exploring the traumas of as early as that. And
okay. So one or 2 years of age.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Before the verbal, before we even speak anything.
So that would even go into inner utero, right?
Yes.
Fascinating. So would you define bioenergetics?
It's a method, again, a psychotherapeutic method that examines the relationship between the psyche and the body and the energetic field. And obviously there's a lot of connection there.
Yeah, and that connection being overlooked kind of leaves a hole in our methodology, doesn't it?
Yes, but
yeah.
It's not overlooked.
I see
right?
that.
Then after that, Lowen, who created bioenergetics, and Turakis, who created core energetics, they're very, very keen on this connection. And the training is obviously very extensive in regards to that.
So are there machines used in bioenergetics? It's not like biofeedback, is it?
No, it's nothing to do with machines. That's biofeedback.
Right.
In bioenergetics, you learn to how your psychic structure imprints on the body. Some people have, we all have, the map of our psyche is imprinted on our body. Everybody is the same. But we learn as practitioners to read that and to help people see that, you have certain tensions locked here, and there. You have a structural, let's say a collapsed chest or whatever it is. It's connected to how you feel inside and how you see the world and how you see yourself. And
yeah, so it's almost like reading body language.
Yes, and by working on the structural, you could many times release the emotional and spiritual patterns. So you could go from in to out, or you can go from out to in.
Got it. So it's like, are you familiar with Reiki? Not Reiki.
Of course, yes.
Neo-Reiki therapy.
No Reiki therapy?
Neo-Reiki. It's a body work.
Therapy.
Yeah, body work.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not, but bioenergetics, as I said, came from Reich. Reich is the father of all these body, mind, self connections.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. And then what is Gestalt?
It's very hard to try to speak about these very elaborate methods in few sentences. But to be very simplistic about it, we have a lot of different parts within us, and Gestalt is about the dialogue between those parts.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And how to unify them, how to help them work together.
So decompartmentalization, if you will.
Yeah, unification of the different parts and have them all be on the same page, so that there's not a lot of inner conflict going on.
So what does psychodrama play? What part does psychodrama play in your work?
Psychodrama is again a wonderful tool to express things. You can put your dad there, you can put your mom there, you can put your sister, you can create a whole psychodrama. It's very good for group work. You can create your whole family, give parts to people, and you can work things out by flushing it out in a psychodrama.
Very fascinating. And I've heard of all of these, and I've heard wonderful things about all of them. To bring them together must be very powerful.
It's very powerful, and what I do is actually way beyond all of them. Gates of Power is a method that I've created that is inspired by them, but goes beyond. How do I explain that? I've taken all the most powerful, wonderful things of each one of those and put that in a mix that's totally different and wonderful in Gates of Power method.
Okay, well, we'll get into Gates of Power towards the end of the interview, but for now, I'm going to ask you the biggie. What is love?
I am not going to attempt to define that. What I'm going to say is that when we have a heartfelt compassion and a heartfelt understanding of ourselves and another, then we're getting close to love.
How does the love that most of us view as a commodity differ from this love you're talking about?
You'll have to explain what you mean by...
Well, it seems like in our culture, love is a word that's used to manipulate people, and not necessarily the kind of love you're talking about.
Yes, well, that's not new. That's what the human race is, has been doing for a long time, manipulating. But that comes because we actually have something inside of us, a part inside of us that I call our, there are three parts sitting inside of us. One of them is our defensive self, and that is our survival self, the part of us that is watching over our survival. Mm-hmm. Now, when that part is overdeveloped, we get into control and manipulation. Mm-hmm. Because it's all about how do I get to be on top? How do I get to be admired? How do I get to be right? How do I get to be safe? And how do I get to be protected? It's all about that. And we develop it pretty early in life, especially when our other part of us, when our emotional self gets bruised or hurt, then our defensive self kicks in and starts growing in order to protect our emotional. And that's when we get into all the manipulation that we see even young kids do.
So it's pretty hard to engage in the kind of love you were talking about earlier when you're in your primal brain or your defensive part, right?
When you are, people live in that defensive self until they're 95.
Well, we're going to have to pick up on defensive self and how we live in it on the other side of a commercial break. Nomi and I will return shortly, so don't go away. You're listening to the Mission Evolution Radio Show, coming to you on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Welcome back. This is Mission Evolution Radio Show, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. To stay abreast of all the wonderful information and tools we have to offer, visit our website, missionevolution.org. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka, and our special guest this hour is Nomi Bachar. Her website, gatesofpower.com. Nomi, we were just getting into this interesting concept of three parts. There's a defensive part that we discussed, and then the emotional part. And you were telling us how when you get damaged emotionally, you drop back into the defensive part, and some people live there their whole lives. Would you pick up from there for me, please?
Yeah. So, okay, when we're born, we're mostly emotional, and then quite close to that time, let's 1-2 year, we start getting uptight about messages that we're getting and such, and we start feeling threatened in terms of our survival. That's very normal for a child. I mean, if mommy leaves and she leaves for too long, it's very threatening. When somebody's yelling in the other room, it's very threatening. So alongside with our emotional self, we have our survival instincts, our defensive self. And what happens to most of us is that as the emotional self gets knocked, by the hard knocks of life, let's generalize about that, our defensive becomes overgrown. We figure, okay, we need to make sure that mommy doesn't leave for too long, so we're gonna holler, or we need to make sure that mommy likes me, so I'm gonna make her giggle. I'm going to do this kind of thing that makes her giggle. And slowly, according to the environment and the messages that we get, we begin to develop a way of being that's going to assure that we're going to have the love, the safety, the protection, the connection, the admiration, approval that we need.
So it sounds like we have to, while we're in that process, we step out of our authenticity.
Of course.
Yeah. So if
survive.
So if we're in our defensive self and out of our authenticity, is it even possible to give and receive true love from there?
It's very hard because it's like we're sitting in a shell.
Mm-hmm.
And the shell is pretty hard. And people develop layers and layers and layers of that shell. And they think that this is me. I can give myself as an example. Because of the conditions in my childhood, I did all that I could do to matter, because I didn't feel I mattered. So I became an exceller, and I would excel in everything. Now, that seems like a good thing. Why so? But no, it's not really, because it's a lot of effort all the time. And for me, I had to drop that. And I still love to do things in a very integrous way, but I'm not coming from that place of an effort, constant effort to be the best, to be perfect, to be excelling in every small little thing that I ever do. So
okay, so it's kind of like if you develop these skills by developing that defense mechanism, but they were running you, and now you've dropped out and you're running your authenticity through those skills.
Right. Okay. So, but I'm saying most people, it has become so much part of their personality, and it shows in the body map too, that they don't think I'm operating from my defensive self. They think this is me.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now we have to talk about the third part that lives inside of us.
Yes, let's.
And that is our expanded self. And our expanded self is our wisdom self. It's the part that we can maybe think about it as a drop of the cosmic intelligence and love and sitting inside of us.
So would some people call that the soul or the spirit?
That's kind of like a whole profound discussion. I think right. I think the soul is a combination, but let's not get there. Some people call that the higher self or your spiritual self. That these are the names that I heard for it.
For expanded self and wisdom self, yes.
For this minute, let's call it expanded self, because I don't like the higher and the lower, and I don't.
I'm
like
with
the
you there.
Spiritual, because it's not only it has. It's very heartfelt. It's very intuitive. It sees the broader picture of things. It has a lot of compassion, and that part, people feel it here and there when they're sitting by a river or they're in church or they're meditating, but they don't know how to take that part and actually train it. And this is what I do with people and for people, help them train their expanded self so it can become the inner parent, the inner guide, the leader and the healer of this little team that sits inside of us.
So let me see if I got this right. The expanded self in an ideal world would be like the inner witness, or the ones that the glue that holds everything together, and the place that the authentic self expresses through.
Yes, it would, and it also heals. It shifts. If it has the right tools, it shifts things around. It can heal and strengthen and nurture the emotional self, and it can relax and normalize the defensive self. All that is the work that we do in Gates of Power. That's part of the work that we do.
Okay, so can we go back to your example of yourself where you learned to excel when and that was a defense because of emotional trauma. But if your expanded self comes on, that was the point at which you were able to come out of your defense and use it as a skill set rather than the driver of the car.
Right. And it was because I had the presence of my expanded self, which is a loving and compassionate part of us, talking about love. I had that embrace and nurture my emotional self and get her out of my trauma. And it very lovingly guided my defensive self. It's like two kids that you need to give them good guidance. And kind of said, honey, it's okay to be good, but we don't have to be so stressed about always being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a good job.
So
we're
Nomi,
okay.
I know this is a guessing game here, but what percentage do you think of our population, let's just say in U.S. and Canada, what percentage of us never come back out of the defensive self?
A lot, a very high percentage.
That certainly speaks of why we're in the trouble that we're in, doesn't it?
Yes. I speak about leadership when I speak to organizations, when I give keynotes or training. And I say to the leaders of communities, the leaders of organizations, you are here, you're leading from your defensive self. How good of a leader do you think you can be? I mean, I showed them. I proved to them.
And if we're in our defensive self and we can't move love into the world or receive it, then that puts us deeper in defense because our life, it's been proven, our lives depend on being able to give and take love. Right.
And that's the problem. So that's why you must find your expanded self, because that is a very good source of love inside of you. And you must give that part of you the tools, the training, to be able to heal whatever bruises and scars you have in your emotional, and to normalize your defensive self so it becomes protective in a healthy way, not defensive. we do need a survival self. We do, because if you're walking down the street and there's red lights, a part of you needs to say, hey, stop. Or walking in a unwholesome part of town. You need your defensive self to be watching out and saying to you.
So all three of these parts all three of these parts are absolutely vital. It's a matter of where you're really living from.
Yeah. No, they all have to work together. Mm-hmm. Emotional gives you a lot of creativity and exuberance and fun and silliness and all the good stuff. And healthy defensive gives you just instructions. Hey, we didn't eat. It's 6 hours. We got to eat something. And protective in a good, wholesome way. Yes, we need that. And your expanded self is the spearheading part, the visionary. That's the part that says, hey, guys, we're going there, And your emotional is going like, wow, it's going to be fun. And your defensive, if it's wholesome, it goes, okay, what can I do? All right, I'm going to watch for this and this and this.
You're going to watch for trouble. Well, we're going to have to take a pause and pick up with this on the other side of a commercial break. Nomi and I will return to our discussion on the other side of this break, so you stay right there. This is Mission Evolution Radio Show. We're coming to you on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media Den.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on SimulTV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is SimulTV. SimulTV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. SimulTV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have SimulTV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Welcome back. This is Mission Evolution Radio Show, bringing leading edge information to support the path to enlightenment. Don't miss all the wonderful things we have to offer on our website, missionevolution.org. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka, and we're speaking with Nomi Bachar. Her website, gatesofpower.com. So, Nomi, during the break, I had an epiphany, if you will.
Yes.
So if we have our defensive self, and it's supposed to be healthy and working as part of, just like you described in the last segment, how much does our blocked trauma that we haven't moved through, that we haven't processed out, distort the ability of our defensive self to function in a healthy way?
Well, they're both connected. They're like twin sisters or twin brothers. Okay, the more pain or unresolved or blocked trauma there's in the emotional, that's how fierce the defensive is going to be.
Makes perfect sense.
That's why I'm saying you must work with both of them. You have to, heal and resolve and release whatever is happening in the emotional self, so that your defensive self is not as uptight. Again, imagine two sisters, right? They're like, in a way, joint in the hip, so to speak. If this one is really in pain, this one gets really uptight. But the more you heal that one, the emotional, the more you can relax the defensive and say, she's okay, everybody's okay. Come on, relax, honey. It's okay. We're good. We're fine.
In the process of doing this, it looks like you're coming with a multiple-pronged approach. You're reading in the body where the emotions, the old blocked emotions, might be being held. Right. You can get the feeling of what quality they are by the posture of the body or where they're being held. You can reach them through the body or through the analyzing of the body, so that's inward and outward.
We do, and in the actual work, I use meditations, I use all the creative arts, since I'm an artist primarily. I use the writing, the drawing, the sound, the movement, and very deep emotional work we do, because the bioenergetics and even the primal get into some very deep feelings. The bioenergetic uses the body as a gateway, but it wants to go into the feelings and shift some things in there, and the same with the primal. So we get to the feelings and we work with them. People holler and cry and shake and whatever it is that they need to do to get whatever they need to get out.
So what sticks it? Is it because, particularly in the primal, we're too young to process the trauma that we're feeling, and so we store it in the body so we can go on, but then never revisit, and then it's locked in the body, affecting our lives.
Right. So that's why we go to the body. We go back through the body as a gateway into that pocket that was kind of like contained somewhere, and we opened it up. We open it up, and we help the person release and restructure.
So when these restrictions start taking place in the body, they restrict the flow of energy, I would expect. And if they restrict the flow of energy, they also restrict the flow of love.
Yes.
So you can't heal without the flow of love, can you?
The moment you help somebody open that and you give them a safe and a loving and accepting environment, they can learn that's okay. They can learn to accept and love themselves. And while they're releasing and shifting and reorganizing, reintegrating themselves emotionally, they learn to do that with a loving, nurturing, parental sense towards themselves.
So does the practitioner mirror that or hold the frequency of it for the client to attune to?
Yes. And then I teach them slowly to use their expanded self as the part that holds compassionately and with great forgiveness and nurturing, holds everything that is happening in the self.
So it looks to me like we're talking about evolution here. We came in emotional, got damaged and moved into the protective stance. But then as you go through these healings, and we can all engage should we choose, you can then evolve into that higher expression.
Yes.
Very nice. Very nice.
I don't even think that there is anything else that we are supposed to be doing here.
Exactly. Yeah, I hear you there. You know, can we really get love from someone else? Like as a practitioner, you hold that frequency. But can we get it from someone else, or is it energy we have to channel for ourselves, ultimately?
Ultimately, yeah. In the beginning, especially when you do these very painful first layers of releasing and shifting, it's very painful. You need to have a safe place, and you need to trust the person that you're working with, and know that you are not judged and you are accepted and all of that. You need that. Then slowly you learn to give that to yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's ultimately the key, isn't it?
The key. It's the key. Because as we said, if you're stuck in a defensive self, that place doesn't accept love. It's not. It's a place that doesn't. It's not really good with the giving and receiving love.
Well, it's not. So, it's not creative either, is it? I mean, we're just kind of stuck.
No, it's not. It's creative when it comes to survival solutions. I was just talking to a client yesterday, and we were talking about a trauma, a very severe trauma with a father who still is alcoholic. And as we were talking about that, and I say to her, let's open that up a little more and how you feeling. She said, my defensive is immediately going to solution, and I can tell you all the solutions that I just came up with. At least she could say my defensive, because she knew that she was coming from there.
So acting from...
She could have a chuckle about that. And I said, okay, but you can talk with her. We cultivate very deep dialogue between those three parts. And that's a very important tool in Gates of Power. When you know how to talk amongst yourself between those three, and when your expanded is there to negotiate the conversation, to move it around, then you're not stuck. Because then she laughed, and then she did an inner dialogue with her out loud with me on the session, and her defensive went like, "Oh, okay, we're not doing that right now." Okay, and that's it. And then we went back to the emotional self because we wanted to give her a chance to feel.
So this kind of reframes things, though, doesn't it? When we get out of the stuck place, and it's not just creating solutions, but rather coming into our creative part where we can move beyond the old created solutions for survival.
Yes. But we want to let the defensive be creative in their own way, as long as they're healthy. They can be defensive. Can be extremely creative when it comes to organizing things and finding solutions to very practical things. So they have They have some creativity. It's just very different, obviously, from emotional intelligence and emotional creativity. But what I'm trying to say is that each part has positive aspects to them.
Yeah, that would make sense because it's just when they're taken out of their natural order to compensate for damage that they become distorted.
Exactly. And what in my work, what we're doing is we're normalizing everybody. And we're working and we're unifying the team. And everybody then is a nice contributor to wherever we're going, the life path, the mission, the vision, the purpose, wherever we're going. They're all working together and they're bringing in their assets.
Is there a time, Nomi, in this process when the three parts become so unified that they're seamless?
Yes.
How lovely.
And when they merge totally and they are so illumined by the expanded self, it's called enlightenment.
So that's the fourth part.
It's a state. It's not even a fourth part, but it's a state that they can reach.
Mm-hmm. And that sounds pretty darn evolutionary, doesn't it?
Yeah. But you can't jump to it. I think you have to, slowly move through the ladder.
I would agree. I mean, I think people trying to move beyond their substance creates more of the problem rather than a solution.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to admit to you that I'm a member of a wonderful ashram, and I've been meditating.
Well, we'll have to talk about meditation and the ashram on the other side of yet another commercial break. Nomi and I will be back shortly, so don't leave us now. This is Mission Evolution Radio Show on the X Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome back. This is the Mission Evolution Radio Show, bringing together gifted people of service to the world. I'm your host, Gwilda Wiyaka. I always love to hear from my listeners. Email me at info@missionevolution.org and suggest a topic or a guest that's on your mind. I'm sure we'll all enjoy them. Our guest this hour is Nomi Bachar. Her website, gatesofpower.com. Nomi, you were just about to mention how meditation can help in this process.
Oh, meditation can help a lot, but I'm not just doing the regular meditations of relaxing and dropping the mind and all of that. I start with that, but then I do some journeying into either the body and the energy field and where it takes us.
You mean like a shamanic journey, like a journey trance?
Yeah, it's not exactly like that, but I guess it's something to refer to. I also do emotional release through meditations, and a lot of meditation state is a wonderful state for work.
So are you exploring, where most people think of meditation, particularly in this culture, as a way to quiet the mind? It sounds like you're using it to go into all levels of our being, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Yes. So it goes beyond that. Mm-hmm. And what I wanted to mention, because it's just very important to me, is that we have 7 areas of life. I call them 7 gates. And those are portals of your inner being, the expression and the energy, emotions in your inner being flow through those gates. And we work with all the 7 gates because that's how you create your wholeness.
Do these 7 gates relate to the chakras?
No.
Okay.
No. We learn about the chakras in the gate of the body.
Okay.
So we have the gate of the body,
mm-hmm.
the gate of emotions,
mm-hmm.
the gate of dialogue, which is relationship to self and others,
mm-hmm.
the gate of creative expression, the gate of life path, which is purpose and mission and important learning that we need to do in this life. And then we have the gate of silence, prayer and meditation, all kinds of meditations, and the gate of knowledge. Acquiring any knowledge, any true knowledge, is important because it's the knowledge of life and living.
So how do these gates relate to love?
If and when your expanded self has created a loving environment inside of you, with your emotional, with your defensive, this little team inside of you is now unified, working together, feeling safe, feeling love for each other. Now you can begin to open all these gates, because most of the time they're blocked, or they're semi-blocked, quarterly blocked, half blocked.
Okay, so the gates are where the frequencies of these particular aspects are come and go.
Yes, the gates are the channels. And now this energy, this loving energy, vibrant energy, expressive, creative energy can flow through the gate of the body freely, through the gate of emotions freely, through the gate of dialogue and all the other gates. So this is why it's important to know that you need to create that loving space inside of you, but then you also want to open up those channels so that the love can flow, the creativity, the love, the wisdom can flow freely and express with other people.
Exonation, Michelle Nagel's our special guest. Her website is
Okay. So if we're working with those gates, don't we have to be standing in our authentic self?
When you say authentic self,
instead of in our defense, we talked about how if we get damage blocked, then we aren't expressing according to our true nature.
When you say authentic self, for me, it's we need to be open within our emotional, relaxed within our defensive, and inspired by our expanded. That is the authentic state.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So each of these 7 gates is paramount to expressing that.
Yes, that's why, just like we have 7 big pieces of the body, like 2 legs, 2 arms, head, torso, and so on, we have those 7 portals, and they need to be, for us to be whole and expressive, loving, creative, contributing. Those gates need to be open and not blocked.
Got it. And how can the 7 gates of power help us evolve as individuals?
They are how we interact with the world. So if our body is open and expressive, we contribute because we're vibrant. If our emotions are flowing and joyful, creative, or even if there's sadness or whatever, but it's authentic, we contribute to others.
And so we become of service then. We get on our life's path, if you will.
We become of service. We become an inspiration. We become a conduit of relatingness. We're relating. We're giving and taking.
And you call these 7 gates of power. I noticed that the word power is in there. Is this the way we move power into the world? Is this our personal power?
Yes. Yes.
In the midst of the...
It's not controlling power. It's not manipulative power. It's not... None of that. It's power of true being and true expression.
In the midst of the environmental and social crises of our time, and you're addressing power and love, how do you see these 2 forces transferring our current state of affairs?
I can't see anything else transferring it. We need the love because the world has become the place for defensive selves to play their dramas. So we have to introduce the love, the honesty, the heart. And that has its own power. It has a very passionate power. And the passion is to create a world of unity, a world of people sharing and co-creating together. That's the passion.
So do you see, again, the current state of affairs as the natural result of so many people living in their defensive selves?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Didn't take us long to do that, did it?
Right.
Yeah. what do you think is the main contributor to keeping people in their defensive self in this day and age?
The refusal to go into the emotional self and feel and see what's there. Because, as I said, without doing that, you can't shift the defensive self.
Got it. So people are afraid of pain.
They're afraid of pain. They're afraid of looking to see what's there. They don't get the tools of learning to accept and embrace themselves and work from compassion. I mean, it's all about, like, be more, do more, like, shine more, you know, be a celebrity, be a this, be a this. You know, it's all about that.
So
from
we
a
have
very young age, it's all about that.
we have just a little tiny bit of time left. What would you recommend to people as the first step to starting to come out of the defensive self and enter into these lovely integrative states that we've been talking about for an hour?
To find somebody that they trust and to do some work with them. Many times it's very painful. It's very difficult to go back. Sometimes we don't even know how to go back. We don't know how to find those places. We know we feel uncomfortable, but we don't know how to tap into those places. So you need somebody who's been doing that and can take you by the hand and help you do that. Don't shy away from the pain, the confusion, the insecurity, the fear that you feel in your emotional self. Don't shy away from it.
Nomi, it's been wonderful hour, but unfortunately we're out of time. Thank you so much for all you're doing in the world and for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Our guest this hour has been Nomi Bachar, author of Let the Heart Speak and Gates of Power, Actualize Your True Self. Her website, gatesofpower.com. Remember to join our email family to stay abreast of all the exciting new things we have coming up at missionevolution.org. This has been Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net. Join us next time as the mission continues, bringing information, resources, and support to an evolving world.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is SimulTV. SimulTV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. SimulTV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have SimulTV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.